Hello everyone, and welcome back. In our previous videos, we thoroughly explored Meister Eckhart's Sermon 1 and Sermon 2. If you haven't watched those yet, make sure to check them out. Today, we are diving deep into Sermon 3, unpacking it line by line. Meister Eckhart begins this sermon with a Latin verse, Ego elegi vos de mundo, which translates to, I have chosen you out of the world. He refers to the Gospel reading for the feast of St. Barnabas, where Christ says, I have chosen you and selected you from the entire world and from all created things, so that you should go forth and bring forth fruit, and that your fruit should remain. Eckhart explains that while it is delightful when fruit is produced, true fruit remains only for those who themselves dwell in love. Jesus concludes this Gospel reading by saying, Love one another as I have loved you. Keep my commandments, and you will remain in my love. Here, Eckhart shares a profound insight. God's commandments proceed directly from love and the goodness of his nature. Anyone who dwells in God's goodness dwells in his love. He then speaks about true, unselfish love. If you love a friend simply because of the benefits they bring you, or because you get your own way, you do not truly love your friend, you only love yourself. You should love a friend purely for their own goodness and virtue. In the exact same way, a true seeker does not pursue God for rewards, personal gain, or even salvation, but loves God purely for the sake of his goodness and his nature. Eckhart then addresses Christ's promise, whoever renounces anything for me shall receive 100-fold in eternal life. But he gives a sharp warning, if you give something up just to gain 100-fold return or eternal life, you have actually renounced nothing at all. He recalls a man who recently came to him, boasting that he had given away vast amounts of land and possessions to save his soul. Eckhart thought to himself, what small, insignificant things you have given away. To focus on what you have given up is pure blindness and stupidity. True renunciation only happens when you abandon yourself. So, what does abandoning yourself actually mean in daily life? It means breaking free from three massive attachments. First, the identity of I. It means letting go of your social status or professional pride, saying, I am an engineer. I am a doctor. I am an executive, or I am deeply religious. These are merely temporary, external masks. Second, the attachment of mine. It means releasing ownership over worldly things and relationships, thinking, my house, my car, or my family. Before giving away external property, you must first let go of the sense of ownership itself. And third, the obsession with me. It means ending the constant cycle of self-centered desires, always chasing after what I need, or what benefits me. When a person completely lets go of the ego of I, mine, and me, true renunciation takes place. Eckhart notes that those who have truly taken leave of themselves become so pure that the material world cannot even endure them. He goes on to speak about justice and spiritual freedom. Whoever loves justice becomes justice itself. A just person is completely free, serving neither God nor creatures as a slave. As long as anything created stands above you, even if it is human reason or emotional love, it oppresses you because created things are not inherently free. Eckhart then explains the boundary between nature and God. When a child is conceived, forming the physical body and shape is the work of nature, taking 40 days and 40 nights. But on the 40th day, in less than an instant, God creates the soul to give life and form to that body. Where nature's work ends, God's divine creation begins. This brings us to the most mystical part of Sermon 3. Eckhart states that there is no absolute truth in created things. However, deep within the soul, there is a supreme, pure core that remains completely untouched by any created thing or nothingness. Not even angels can reach this realm. It is like the divine nature itself, a wilderness, nameless and unknown. He says, if you could step away from your ego for even a single moment, you would possess everything that God possesses. But as long as you hold on to yourself or value created things, you will never truly know God. He quotes the great philosopher Plato, who spoke of a purity that exists neither in the world nor outside it, neither in time nor in eternity. From this absolute purity, God the Father brings forth the fullness of his divinity, giving birth to his Son within us. Finally, Eckhart reveals the deeper meaning of two Latin words, ego and vos. Ego means I, a term that truly belongs only to God in his absolute unity. Vos means you, reminding us that we must all become one in that divine unity. I and you are not meant to remain separate, but to dissolve into the ultimate oneness of God. Eckhart concludes with a prayer that we may all become part of this divine unity and remain within it forever. Sermon 3 teaches us that spirituality is not about showing off sacrifices or good deeds, but about eliminating the inner ego of I, mine, and me, to become one with the divine. If you missed our coverage of Sermons 1 and 2, you can find the links in the description. In our next video, we will explore Sermon 4. Thank you for watching, leave your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe.